Hi, it's Morag from our Permaculture Life and the Permaculture Education Institute, and I'm here today at Little Yabba Creek with my friend Wiruungga Dunggiirr. And we had some chats a little while ago now about a whole lot of different things actually, and it's so good that I've managed to catch you because you're about to go somewhere tomorrow. You're about to head off to a kiva, which I understand to be something like a First Nations, United Nations gathering. Can you tell us a little bit about what that's all about and what you're doing there?
Yeah, well,
I'll just fix up my microphone.
Tomorrow I take off from Brisbane Airport on the big kangaroo, and that's a good sign for me. On the big kangaroo, I just rode it back over here, and flying out to Austria, Vienna is the first journey. And there's a big forum there, just like human rights, and we talk about issues around the world, and we will be talking on 5G and a few other.
You mentioned climate change as well. What's the First Nations people saying about climate change, and what is their call to action?
I think climate change, like with the First Nation people, is about the people who's creating this, and it's all about our coals and our mining industries that's not listening to the rest of the world, and we need to start communicating together, because there won't be another 3 generations or 7 generations coming behind us. We'll leave them nothing, and we won't be even here ourselves, so we need to start looking at issues like that. And then suicide, because there's that many suicide now, it ain't funny. So
you're talking about suicides in the Indigenous youth? Are you talking about?
Just not Indigenous youth. It's right across the border here.
Yeah, right.
From kids to teenagers to adults, men and women.
Particularly in the Indigenous community you're talking about?
No,
just
everywhere, because there's a lot in my communities. And it's that plague of thing, they call it the ice.
What's that?
Ice is a type of drug that.
Oh, ice, right? Yeah, right.
So they say the ice age is coming. It's already here, but it's not that ice age from the ice itself, from the big things down in the South Pole and stuff like that. It's about
the drugs. It's
about drugs, and it's killing people left, right and centre in my communities.
Yeah, right.
And how could we slow this down or try to stop it and fix it for these young people to get a better life?
So what are some of the things that you think you'll be talking about there about climate change and suicide? I mean, is it about strengthening communities or ceremony, connection to land? What are some of the things that you think are going to be really hot topics there to
I think to me,
dive into?
As an Indigenous Elder, I think it needs to go, all these programs and everything need to go back to the elders, and the elders need to run communities.
Yeah, right.
All walks of life need to talk about this and do it, and just not stand back and let somebody else do it for them, you know. So I think that's the way to do it. And I'll be talking 3 times like this, because from Austria I'll travel on to Hungary, to Amsterdam, and then from Amsterdam to Hungary, because in Amsterdam we do the kiva, and the kiva is on top of in the ground, down underneath like that, where lots of people do their talking to the gods or the spirits and the ancestors, how to make a better world.
So what other First Nations people will be there with you doing these ceremonies?
Well,
and how can you explain that to non-First Nations people about what the significance of what you're doing is?
Well, one of the things is that there will be people from Europe themselves, from the Vikings people, from Mongolia, from Asia, like that, and also.
Well, we're all Indigenous from somewhere, aren't we?
That's right.
We're all Indigenous to this planet,
and that's what we need to work together to keep this planet alive.
Yep.
Just like where we are now through the rainforest. how nourished this forest is, and how beautiful it is, you know, because this forest, if we keep going, there won't be a forest like this. There won't be any oxygen. Our next 2 generations or 3 generations behind us be living in bubbles with a little bit of forest.
Yeah.
You know, we don't want that. We want
that's
them
not really living, is it?
We want them to live what we live in now.
Yeah.
You know, to share all this, the plants, the food, and the knowledge and the wisdom, because that's what our grandfathers, grandmothers give it to us. So we now need to share it there.
Well, you know, I want to thank you for, you know, like the walks we've done so far, and you've shared some knowledge with me. And I had a group of young people come to camp up at my place, and I was walking out through Crystal Waters, and we were looking at all the plants, and I was telling them how you told me that this plant was this food and this plant was this food, and they were looking around. It changes their perception about what is around them. Instead of just walking through and seeing trees, it actually is. It's life. It's habitat. It's our source of nourishment, our source of medicine, it's source of life for everything else. And I think once they start to understand it a bit more, and then that value comes, and the connection comes, and then the community comes, and things start to heal somewhat.
And make them think: is this going to be for our children?
Yeah.
And our grandchildren too. That's what they're going to start thinking about. And that's what we need to look at if we're going to start teaching these children, because we are the teachers. Because our grandfathers and our grandmothers and fathers and mothers taught us. And they were the teachers. So now it's our turn to teach our children. It's just not my children. Your children is my children too. I'm responsible for your children too. Out there in this wide, beautiful rainforest or in the desert. Because we all live on this planet together.
And I think that's something that's really important that we need to learn from. Is about that sense of, it's not just me and my family or my land. It's about the us. It's about the we. It's about how we're in it together, and that we need to kind of really get that.
And people don't get it. They'll say them and those and us. But it's not all about that. It's all about we need to do it now.
So the amplification of the voices of everyone coming together in these kivas, like people coming together and speaking, like how do you feel that's having? You feel like it's kind of rippling out. People are hearing it. Where do you think the most? Like I'm asking this because we're kind of in a critical point of time. When you know things are happening at a much faster pace than we thought that they were. You know, I've just been talking to Indigenous Eskimos saying that the Greenland's melting much faster than they thought. You know, Norway's raised its temperature by 4 degrees. Tasmania's raising its temperature by, you know, sea level rise. Islands out off the Pacific are starting to go on. All things like that. So if we're to have a future, we actually need to listen to the voices of wisdom and start to...
we need to, because there's a young lot, I think it's in... up in Norway. What's that, Switzerland? Is it Switzerland or Sweden?
Sweden, yeah.
Sweden. There is a young group up there. They invited me to go there, but they couldn't afford to change my plan on my plane.
Ah, right.
But there's always the next time.
Who is that?
It's a group of young people in their community, and there's a lot of young people from around. I'm talking about from
walking well.
From the age of. I reckon they're from the age of 17 or 16 to about 20 or 30-year-olds, and they come together and they listen to the knowledge and the wisdom of elders from around the globe. So to share it with them and how to make a better world for their future. Because if they don't have that, we're going to have the problems already starting, you know. So
what can we learn in a forest like this? What does this forest have to teach us about how we need to live?
This forest is our supermarket. And there's no sugars in this forest. And there's no salt in this forest. That's what this forest is about, is what you can eat and what you can't eat and what you can do, and how to share that knowledge and the bit of secrets to it, to this forest, because the first thing you do is respect it. You don't go in here with an axe and a chainsaw and cut it all down. That's not what it's about, you know. This medicine, and look at this ginger, beautiful fresh ginger, shiny leaves.
Isn't that gorgeous? Yeah.
You know.
So how do you use the ginger mostly?
Well, I use the root, but I also use the berries off the top.
Yeah,
I
they're
suck
nice,
them,
aren't they?
and I just suck on them and just spit them out and grow them again.
Yep.
In the forest.
Yep.
So they still more growing again, you know.
Yeah, so it's like planting
Yeah.
it straight away.
Yeah.
Well. It's part of the. It was kind of like, well, how all the species in here, like some other animal eat it and pass it out too, and so it's sort of taking the seeds.
Birds, possums,
yeah,
and you know, bandicoots and kangaroos.
So what other kind of foods? Like if you were to come in here and look for some food, what would you be looking for?
I'll look at some of these palm trees.
Oh, let's see if I can get.
And see if there's any what they call it, walker stick palms.
Oh, yeah, we're in a bit of a palm valley here at the moment.
Lily pillies, and there's native figs.
What about proteins? What sort of protein would you get in a forest like this?
Well, sometimes there could be a maca.
Yep.
Macadamia, native to Australia.
Yep.
And also you can get acupuncture in here too, with the stinging tree.
Oh, you're right.
That's the first acupuncture you ever got. So if you got an acupuncture like that, you'll never come back again. I guarantee. So
what's the antidote to that? Is there another plant that grows near it that kind of
there's a big leaf. It looks like elephant leaf.
Oh, yeah.
It grows around it. That's the companion plants growing together. And the figs, different types of fig you can eat. You know, especially the big ones off the big figs there.
Yeah, they're
but
delicious.
There's lots of sandpaper figs here too. So
what about roots and things?
Roots and leaves, barks. Barks, and that you can make up a drink, or you can chew on it. You know, just like that. And you got beautiful trees like that.
I know. Let's see if I can turn around and get that in behind.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can see that in there. It's like a massive old.
We can go right there. This is where I did a documentary here on this.
You?
Yeah. So
tell us about the documentary that's being made. It's about your life, isn't it? And what you do.
It's a journey of the life, of my life, and it started off from the Dreamtime and still travelling.
Let's just turn around.
So this is a very ancient stump.
Wow.
I reckon.
That's massive. Look at
that.
Oh my gosh! I can't even get it in the picture.
Yeah.
There you go. Oh, there we go.
You know, it's so beautiful. And the documentaries, we did a bit of shooting there, a bit of film.
Yeah.
And this area here, right here, was I was leaning against the post there on the ground, and a young lady was walking past, and she actually saw me, and she went into a hysterical fit.
She think you were a ghost or something?
She thought she was having an illusion.
Oh my gosh.
She thought she was in the Dreamtime or something.
Yeah.
This is not real.
It's kind of, in the midst of this forest, she could have thought that, couldn't she?
Oh, yeah, easy, easy, very easy.
Yeah.
But she didn't know that the film man was sitting behind me. And that's the funniest part.
Oh my gosh.
Because I kept saying, I said to her, pointing behind, sign language, and like this, like behind me. And she said, come over, and her boyfriend caught up and said, you want me to take a photo? And I thought that was a crack up. It was a really crack up because, there's a man behind me shooting this documentary this lady wants to do. But she didn't know all that.
No.
But anyway, we just laughed about it, and I said, cut. I had to say cut. But if I'd have walked away over there through the bush with my boomerang and that, I think she would have been on the ground and never budged.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to do that to her, give her a heart attack or something. It was hard for me just to hold a straight face, So
were you all kind of like painted up and everything?
I was painted up in my traditional gear with my skins on, and she didn't.
So when you say your skins, so what have you got? When you're wearing your skins, what are your
I
skins?
wear a kangaroo skin.
Yep.
And this time when I go to Austria to sit in this forum,
Yep.
I will have 2 skins on.
Yep.
And my headband's kangaroo tails. They're
Yep.
all kangaroos.
Yep.
And then I'll that'll be me for the day.
Yeah. So you were saying earlier that you also have some Maori.
I got Maori blood in me,
Yeah.
from the Bay of Island and also the Bay of Plenty.
Mm.
Yeah.
So have you got brothers over there that you talk to, like you stay in touch with? And
I never met some of my family there, but
right.
I met lots of friends there,
Yeah.
and they're going to we're trying to wheedle our way through it.
Great.
See if we can get in there to meet them. And I'm just holding that on for a little while until my partner comes, and then we can go and do it together.
Yeah.
Because it'd be good if she sees it too.
Yeah.
Where I come from.
So I'm I just want to go back again to what you're doing in Europe and how it comes to be that you're there. And what am I trying to ask you? I'm trying to ask you.
I don't know.
No, you don't know. I do know what I want to ask you. That
Yeah.
you know that the world is kind of waking up to the point now that they need a different kind of knowledge and a different kind of wisdom. But how is it? Who's organised these events, and how do they find all the elders and invite them, and how do you get to be part of it, and how do you ripple what you learn and share over there back out through the communities again?
Wow.
That's I think what I'm trying to ask.
Yeah.
That's this big muddle of questions all up
Yeah,
together.
I think, to me personally, I think the Indian chief had a vision. And then he saw, he had probably had people out there looking around for speakers, and that's why now I'm there on the forum, and also my partner's going to be there too.
Right.
So as part of the elders, because we need to explain or express our interests of the future, of our children. And if we don't, we may have just jump in that big stump hole there and stay there for the rest of your life, because that's not helping your people.
No.
And
No,
people.
I think we need to speak out really loudly. Everyone who's kind of aware now to take this opportunity to connect and act.
And it's not about colour.
No.
We're all brothers and sisters, and we're all family, and we all got to walk together, talk together, sit together, eat together, and share the knowledge what we got, you know.
And I think that what you've just said there about eating together, sharing, coming together, kind of in circles, having conversations.
Yeah, not in square. That's where we made the mistake.
Yeah, that's right.
That's where we made the mistake in the world, because whoever started to draw a house, they should have. A long time ago, it was round. The Mongolians, Yerks and that, it's round.
I know, it creates that opportunity for people to sit together.
And when we sit around. But in classrooms, when children go to school, they sit in lines, not in circle. You know, and I wouldn't teach it like that. I made children sit around a circle to look at one another, straight across one another, and to explain to one another that this is how we work. You know.
And so you do a fair bit of work talking with people of all different ages and
different
backgrounds and
cultures.
And are you still working on the idea of the Bush University?
I am still working on that, but I think my first thing is to set up I'm trying to get a bit of land, and to do that, and then in the Bush University, I think we need the umbrellas then. So one of the places where you are, that'll be an umbrella to start off the plants. Get as much as we can to store there, and then we can transfer a lot of seeds and that into the bigger university itself.
Yeah, and then regenerate
Yeah,
lands and
That's in Queensland and New South Wales. I've just got to write up with the young people I'm working with now, write up some proposal to the land councils. There's 2 land councils and a council down in my country. I must do that and to let them know what I'm doing. But I'm also creating employment.
Yeah.
So work for the dole or employment itself.
Yeah.
But of course I just want these land councils to take responsibility after that, because I only just want to set it up and let them do the rest.
Yeah. So we talked last time about permaculture and communities. Are you seeing anything new happening in that realm, or any further need for that, or any way that you think it might help?
Well, I think permaculture is got to be part of the university too, because the way we lay these trees out or set all the plants out, and we got to make big circles of them and stuff. And all we need is compost toilets and a little place to sit and rest when it rains, so we're out of the rain, out of the weather.
Yep.
And we just need people who love their job.
Yeah, yeah.
Love the job that they're going to do for Mother Earth.
Yeah, yeah.
And by working with Mother Earth, she'll give you lots of stuff. She will make sure that those trees and those plants and those vines will grow. Because it's love. And that's the way we got to look at life now. It's about the loving the plant and love what we do, and work hard to make it good, because that generation behind is not that far behind there. They're coming.
And so the role of ceremony in that process of healing the land and healing the people and bringing people to the land.
Yeah.
How can you explain a little bit about that role? So, because in the culture that we have now, I mean, there's not much ceremony that happens, and I think it's probably part of the answer.
Before I take any trees away to where I got to make this beautiful garden, I've got to sit there for few days with the trees and explain to them, I'm sorry, please forgive me for it, because I'm going to take some of you away from here, but I will collect your seeds and put you on the edge of us. So you're not going far, you're still there in your country. And
is that kind of recognising the sense that the forest is a community and that you're part of that community? And
yeah, that's right. You're part of the community of the plants, because I mean, they probably have a good old yarn after we leave, and saying, wow, they mentioned my name. I'm the stinging tree, and I was the acupuncture person. Yes, and, and the animals, you think they're gone, but they're here, the birds. Yeah, they're all listening.
Yeah.
And, even our ancestors was here now, was walking around listening to us. Because I come from another tribe, that doesn't mean a thing. I'm here in this beautiful country here, and in Queensland, and I'm part of it. And I'm sharing what I've got, and they share with me. So we both do it together. We do a dance, we do a smoking ceremony, we sing, and I think that if your people singing every day songs and enjoying themselves with the gardens in horticulture, agriculture, or even permaculture, I think this is the way to do it. And to share that knowledge out there with the rest of the world, that's what I'm doing. I started off as a radio man, doing radio.
Oh, did you?
Teaching young Aboriginal and non-Aboriginal boys and girls. Yeah. Who was the dumb children in a school. There's nobody born dumb, nobody like that. So I said, can I take those children? And I did. And I made something out of them.
Yeah, right.
And now they can broadcast all they want.
Yeah. Wow, that's fantastic. And I think that opportunity to actually be able to speak out and feel confident and have the voice to be able to speak out in the forums. So there's a lot of young people who are actually speaking out on the streets now, all the Extinction Rebellion kids or the or the, you know, school strike kids. And I'm, calling out to say, let's stop what's going on.
Yeah.
What would you like to throw into the conversation in terms of it, advice for, what next? So if not that society, then what? What does that society look like that we're trying to create that's going to be a future that's worth fighting for? What would you suggest that they do? Or
well, never give up for a start. And I think we need to start walking together and stretching our hands out, even from Cape York right through to Canberra, and to do the same from Darwin, do the same things from Kimberley's, and make it like a river flow to Canberra. And to get the government to realise that we're not mucking around. This is and all ages standing together, walking together, and I think this is what we need to do. And let the truckies know that we are walking the roads, or even if you don't walk the road, our hands touch. That's one big river flowing down to Canberra to make them, and the person on the other end of it can do all the talking for us because the energy is flowing to there.
And what do you want them to say to the people in Canberra?
Well, I think to me is to start thinking about closing some of these mines down, because these are not the answer for our future, for the children. It's not the answer. It's the answer for your pocket or for the development for Australia, yes. But you spend more money out there on mines and arms and lots of sugar. What's killed our children, with all the different variety of sickness. So we don't need that. We need to live a good life, healthy life, and like that, and share the knowledge and around the fire at night, talking to the children, And if some of you government department out there sit around a fire at night time and talk to them, or are you going to be sitting inside of a room? Just talking to adults.
Yeah, disconnected from...
You can't do that. You got to explain, talk, and be responsible for who you are and what you are. And you got to, you voted into these departments, and these children will be voting again for the same parties and that. So you need to do something positive about it and stop some of these countries doing the mining and also doing other things on this beautiful country of ours, even around the world. We need to all stop together because this planet is beautiful if you get out and have a look at it. So is the people.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah. So the messages you just said then is just keep going, connect with people.
Yeah.
And from a government perspective, just focus on life, what matters. Stop the destruction, stop the exploitation, and redirect the strength of what the government can do into positive projects that support people, support land.
Yeah. And I think we don't need anything for the future. We are the future. So we need to, the future is behind us. They're coming forward, and they got the technology and everything what they need. We don't want to create it for them. They'll do it themselves. And in a right way, proper way, and look after their forests also for the oxygen that we breathe every day morning. You wake up in the morning, thank the Great Spirit that you're still alive, that you can breathe another day. And I think people need to do that more often, and then thank you what you eat, and get back to the medicine food of the forest. The medicine food that the old ways back in the Celtic days was the witches, they had it. They had it good, and we need more young people to come forward now and to start living that way again and learn about the permaculture and horticulture and learn about just gardening. If Because some people don't even know how to pot a seed in a pot.
Yeah. But also to kind of be able to walk into a forest like this and to, like you said, see it as habitat, see it as a place of nourishment. You know, that there's food everywhere, but not as an exploitative way, but as a sharing way. In that, you know, that there's an abundance here.
Yeah.
And if we protect the forest like this and regenerate forests, then there's an enormous amount of abundance everywhere. But it requires a shift in our thinking about what is food as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I think that's why I was asked to do the wings of the night with the bats, because the bats and the bees and, you know, other species of animals and mammals and that live in the forest, that germinate the forest and respect it.
What's the wings of the forest? What's that?
It's the wings of the night. It's about fruit bats.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'll send it to you.
Yeah.
Marco Polo from Munich, Germany.
Yeah, right.
They did a documentary with me.
Yeah.
And one of our Murray brothers, he passed on now. He was the narrator for us because my voice was too soft.
Ah, you got a beautiful voice.
That's all right. I love his voice too.
Yeah.
And his voice will still go on.
Yeah.
He's radio man. So
So should we keep walking?
Because otherwise the mozzie's going to eat us.
Yeah, I know. They're feasting on us while we're standing. So the idea of, so are there still really strong radio stations of still sharing the stories, sharing ideas, teaching people through radio that's happening, or is that something that needs to kind of happen a bit more, you think?
No, I think Triple A in Brisbane, 98.9 is doing a lot, and Karma Radio in Alice Springs.
Yep.
And a few other radio stations around. NITV is doing a lot.
Oh, yeah, that's fantastic.
And, we just need a bit more stuff on it, and to share what we got, and be happy and satisfied like that. Look.
I know, I'm in awe. Let's kind of go over here and turn around so everyone else can see what we're looking at.
Yeah, this is one of the grandma.
Hang on, let's turn around. I have to go this way, then we get tangled up with
all the grandma. This is a grandma tree. Yeah, we got it.
That is phenomenal.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, the root systems, but, that is fantastic. I always say hello, Mimi, or sometimes hello, Gummy, in my language.
Yeah.
It means grandmother. But, this is the biggest stinging tree that I've ever seen also.
It's enormous, isn't it?
Yeah, black bean in here, so... and the palms, how tall they are in here.
Yeah, I'm just looking down at those roots. It's amazing.
Yeah, and there's
it's a beautiful spot in here.
Freshwater crayfish in here, along in these little bits and pieces, and the little creeks.
So what have you, is that food to you as well, the crayfish?
Well, it used to be, but before I turned vegan.
Yeah, right.
So I turned vegan, and I turned vegan because of my diabetes.
Yeah, right. And that's made a difference to you?
It made a big difference and stopped eating meat and fish and, and eggs and stuff. I mean, I didn't eat the cow, the sheep, the pig and the chicken. I always ate the wild game, like what's got roadkills and stuff. And I just ate eggs like that, so... But free range, So I was looking after myself then, and then I changed to vegan because my girlfriend is vegan and her family is, and I didn't want her to cook me fish or meat.
Yeah, right. Yep.
So I didn't want to have it in my bus either, the smell.
Yeah.
And now I can't stand it. I got to go away from it.
Yeah.
So I got to keep. Not doing it like that, So But I'm happy with what I do, and I'm not there yet, but I will be soon. I will stop all this.
Yep.
But it's a challenge, like life. So you got to keep doing it and to keep walking it.
So the I guess. A lot of the issues health-wise in communities around Australia would be quite significantly
it's pretty bad in our Indigenous communities, because a lot of the shops have a lot of sugar.
Yes.
A lot of sugar.
Sugar, flour, and what else?
Yeah, sugar, flour, and tea.
Sugar, flour, and tea. Still, really,
Yeah.
probably not much fresh food. And to people, if they're kind of settled, it's not so much something they just harvesting.
And I think there's not enough fresh veggies in their gardens.
Yeah.
And our mob did the agriculture and stuff like that. Growing veggies and thing out in the forest. And this is an example for you. This rainforest here, what we walked through, it's a market, supermarket, shopping. And the desert is the same. So I go out there, take clothes to those remote communities to share what I've got to them to share with me. So we learn about one another's bush medicine, bush tucker. And there's the keepers, I call them the wisdom keepers, because I want to learn about their bush tucker, bush medicine, where they are. And then when they come down my way, out to the East Coast, we can do the same thing, share it with them. So they won't get sick down here, and I won't get sick out there.
Yep. And you paint as well, don't you?
I'm an artist and a dancer.
And so you're
a performer,
Yeah. So the stories you tell through your art, whether it be dance or painting, what are the sort of stories that you tell?
I do a lot of Dreamtime Stories. Were handed down from my grandfathers, grandmothers, and great grannies. That and also for my dad and my mum, and uncles and aunties. So they share a story with you, and then how you develop it, how you put it into art form, how you put it into a dance.
So do the stories, the Dreamtime stories, do they evolve, or you keep telling the same story but it emerges over time, or is it you just retell it differently, or how does it work?
Oh no, you tell the same Dreamtime story, but also in other different places you meet other uncles and aunties, and they'll tell you another story of something else.
Yep.
So you got all these stories in your head. They're not on your computer.
And I met this Auntie Phyllis from way up north near Tully recently, and she was saying, in her head it's like a map. All the stories form a map. They all connect together, and she has this.
Yeah.
The landscape in her mind is a map of where she can find things and where. I thought that was a really.
She's right that we do have. We got to keep that all in our head. People say, "Well, why don't you write a book?" Right? Yeah. Okay. Write a book, and then what happened after that? What about the rest of the stuff that's in the brain?
Well, it doesn't really stay alive as much if it's in a book, does it? If you keep telling it,
no,
and you keep dancing it, and you keep painting it, and you keep,
and you feel much younger, and you feel really good within your spirit. Your spirit is getting stronger.
Yeah.
And I find that's the part that I love doing is performing it and painting my Dreamtime story, because each painting is totally different when I do it.
Can you share something about a story that's...
Yeah, I could. In our country where I come from, we have a story of two sisters, and those two sisters is the creators of the south-east winds and the north-east winds. And those two sisters also created the ocean. So as they was at this cave one time ago, they was having fun because the rest of the people left them there, and the families. And so there was a clever man, what we call a clever fella. He come and he wanted a wife, but he went straight for the youngest one. And the oldest one said, "No, you can't. You gotta marry me first. I'm the first." And he didn't like that one bit, being told. So he got a big stick and he banged her over the head, and the other sister too, and he left them there for a while. And then one day he had this beautiful singing. Now these two people, these two women, a family to the whale and the dolphin families. These are my people. And you can hear all this beautiful singing. So he looked and he sneaked up on him, and he just saw the two girls. And then she welcomed, the older sister said, "Come, you're right, you can marry my sister." But he didn't know how wise she was. She's a very smart and strong woman. And when he sat down on the ground, and the little sister was just feeding him, but the big sister making all the food, putting it on this bark and this shell and all these things, what she had there to give him. But she mixed up 3 or 4 different berries. Now, if they tell you the red berry is poison, don't believe that, because the purple one can be too, and the green one and the yellow one. So kids out there, if you hear this story, don't eat just the red one or the green one. They're all poison until you know by your mother or father. And she put a bit of honey with it, a bit of native honey, so he couldn't smell the poison. And that's how she caught him. He turned into a night owl and flew away. So he was a clever man, but he was after the wife, see, like that. So, and then after that, they're trying to contact their families and that, so they started to sing and dance, and one went south and one went north, and they come back to this spot, and then they dug a beautiful stick from the mountain. Yeah. And then they started singing again, and then that's when the ocean started to emerge to where they are.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
So your people are part of you said the dolphin and whale people.
Yeah.
And
that's why it's my whale.
And so that
they
were they like whale spirits or those women?
No.
No.
They're ordinary like me.
Yep.
And I come from the mountain called Yarrapini, and they're 7-footers, big people.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And the short people are the dolphins and the whales.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So it's a very special place, and that's where I've done the rest of my doco down there over about 4 weeks ago now.
And then you're going to go out to the desert as well to finish off the documentary.
We're going to finish a bit more out there by travelling in a bus to do the journey, probably with a couple of backups.
Right.
Because my old bus is getting so old now.
No. It's done a few journeys, isn't it?
Yeah, she's on the second lap of the clock.
Oh my gosh!
So
wow, really?
So she went past the zeros, she went to the 100,000, and now she's up to 900,000 now again.
Oh my gosh!
And she's still going. But if you want to pimp something, come and pimp my bus, because that's what we need. Need to keep delivering clothing to remote communities and building permaculture gardens.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. So if someone who watches this and would like to support the work you do in helping communities with clothes and food and gardens, and just to keep doing the work that you're doing, to share these stories and to share the wisdom and to share the to bring forward the space for young people, how can they help you, and how can they help the communities? We're back out of the forest now, back onto the road.
Whoa, yeah, we're back out. Shock.
Wow. So
I think
what's the best way that people can?
Well, sponsor us in ways.
Yep.
Like I remember years ago when I was a child, there were 2 brothers called the Leyland brothers.
I remember the Leyland brothers. Did you meet the Leyland brothers?
I didn't meet them. I saw them, but I really want to meet them and have a yarn with them about this, because I know a person whose father gave him the vehicle.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can we just stop here for a minute?
Yeah.
Because there's something going on behind us here with these casuarinas. It's kind of like nature healing herself, feels like. There's up and down the river, the Mary River, like all all the way through there, there's just casuarinas everywhere. And so,
Yeah, I remember when they was only tiny,
yeah.
and now that they are standing up against the wall, making where the water
on
runs.
the other side as well, they're just
Yeah,
massive forest up the river valley.
and it's all the way up Little Yabba.
It's amazing, really, isn't it?
You know,
Yeah. Oops, we're swap sides. That's all right. We'll just confuse people.
Not Little Yabba. What do we call it? It's
Yeah, this is Little Yabba, but then it goes into the Mary.
the Mary's just there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oop, on the right side. Yes.
Yeah, that's all right.
we get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thanks for walking and talking.
Walking and talking,
Sharing.
sharing. That's right. That's what it's about.
Yeah.
And working together, because we can do that. Because there's, you know, I was going to take a flag with me. There's no room for racism, and you know, we got to now look out a flag for the Indigenous people at this moment. So
You have one, or you're going to make one?
I think the people of Australia Indigenous people have got to make a new Aboriginal flag, a First Nation flag, because there's a bit of animosity of the flag,
Yeah. Okay. Right.
the colour of the flag or whatever.
Yeah.
But you know, it's material, and it represents all walks of life on this as Indigenous people.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. So
Well, I look forward to hearing news from your journeys throughout Europe and the keepers, and
I'll do another talk about it when I come
great.
back
That'd be wonderful.
from there.
And what I might do too is on the Ethos Foundation is actually set up a section where people can, if they want to donate some money, that they can donate it there. And then every cent that I collect, I'll just send directly through.
Well, that'll be. I'll be happy with that.
Yeah,
and it would be good.
I'll put information down below where you can actually do that, and you know, that would be absolutely wonderful. To anything that you can do to support Wiruungga's work, as you can hear, his bus probably needs a new bus. Anyone?
Yeah, I love my bus, but it's only for me now to live in.
Yeah.
I need another bus to travel with, but a 4-wheel drive one.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah, for people out there to continue the journey and to know what we're doing.
Yeah. Well, thanks again, and good luck with everything.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Morag.
Perhaps we're going all wonky.
We're all wonky.
All right. See you later.
See you later. Bye. Peace.